All right. I think we're live. Are we live? Ladies and gentlemen, are we live? Hello? It is not late, Zach. Oh, come on. It is on the dot. I'm looking at it on my screen. You're just being a jerk.
Well, that's a great way to start it.
Yeah, no. I'm arguing with chat. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so welcome, guys, to the stream. It is Real American, hosted by a guest. John, I am not late, Zach. I am not late. Okay,
Yeah.
no, but anyways, so I'm going to have Rap talk for a little bit, but I'm going to be covering the stream. We'll have some people pop in and out probably throughout the hour. But real quick, I was going to let Rap talk to you guys for a little bit before we get going. Again, talking Iran, talking immigration, a couple other things. But yeah, real quick, we're not going to get too deep into the drama, but Rap did want to say something to you guys before he bowed out.
Yes, okay, everybody. So there's stuff going on. Probably everyone has heard by now. I'm not going to get into the details like John said. Listen, I'm not going to talk about it, but I think right now, for everything that's going on, John and a few others will be doing the streaming for now, the videos and stuff, if they want to. I'm going to take kind of a hiatus, I guess, from all this stuff. And a lot of stuff's going on. Again, I don't want to go into the details, but I will be taking a hiatus. That doesn't mean I'm not going to jump in and stream or whatever, but it just means that I'm not the one actually doing the streams themselves. It's very interesting situation. Again, we'll see what happens, but I will be taking that hiatus for a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. You probably won't see me on Twitter and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to be chilling. Again, the drama stuff is stupid. We're not going to get into it. I'm not going to talk about it now. But yeah, John Rose is in charge here. This feels strange. I'm usually the one that has like OBS pulled up, and I have nothing. I have nothing except like Reddit pulled up on my second monitor.
Yeah, so I got the stream. Like, by the way, we're streaming from a different computer than normal, so you guys got to let me know if there's something wrong with the stream or if there's something wrong with anything else. I'm watching chat this whole time, so just give me that notice. And yeah, real quick, you did want to say you didn't want to get into the drama, but you did want to say you didn't do nothing, right?
Yeah, I want to be clear about this, guys. Everything that was alleged and all that stuff, it was completely false. It's fake. We literally have evidence that it is. We're not going to get into it, but it's all fake. It's not real. Just, yeah, the situation's not even worth really discussing.
Right. Easy. It's so quickly and easily disproven. It doesn't like require any more than a few seconds of addressing.
Yeah, there's a quick super chat. I want to read this one because might be my final one for a while. Crank mode for 5. What the F rap is an e-girl now? Congrats to the transition.
Yeah, no, I think he's referring to the little monitor I have on the bottom left. Yeah, no, this is Kikuri from Bochi the Rock. You guys know I'm a weeb. I had some dude make a cowboy southerner Kikuri with like holding a glass of whiskey because I that's like kind of like a thing that I do. I actually don't drink. I haven't drank in a while, but I drank a bunch of whiskey when I was drinking. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There
anyway,
is one more thing I want to say.
Yeah.
About the other stuff. Also, the other ones that were allegedly involved, it's not real. Like Real Texan, he did nothing. No one did anything. So I just want to clear about that. It's not just me. No one has done anything that was alleged or whatever. So that's why I wanted to say real quick. Don't slander people like Real Texan or whatever. So. One more super chat, I guess, and then I'll hand it over to you. Megar Bayris has joined the channel. Thank you so much. American Nerd for 2. I wish people would leave Rap alone. He's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So John Rose is in charge now. I'll stay for a tiny bit. He's in charge. And then I'll probably go play Red Dead for a while.
Yeah. Got to go do some maxing and relaxing, get everything consolidated. But yeah. But anyway, guys, we're gonna have a fun stream. We're going to have a good time. I don't know who's going to be guesting. People will pop in and out. You guys just need to remain calm. Don't be a panicking. But what we have today, we actually have a lot of stuff because so much happened over the weekend. But real quick, I just wanted to address the least interesting thing before we went. No Kings protests happened. There were a couple of like pocket incidents in a couple of cities, but across the entire country, well, it's just this picture that I have in front of you. It's old people. Lots and lots of old people with nothing to do in their lives. It's like David Hogg was saying, like the only reason the old people kicked him out is because like they feel threatened by him, and politics is their whole life. They have nothing to look forward to. That's the Democrat base right now. It's like old people that have nothing to look forward to in life. They all showed up to tell us that we're not allowed to celebrate the Army's anniversary because
Orange Man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing with these whole protests is it proves what I've been saying for about 3 years now. The Democrat Party is literally the party of old-ass white people. It's not the party of young people, not the party of Hispanics. No, it's just a bunch of old-ass white people that have nothing better to do with their lives. I mean, seriously, look at this protest. You have on screen here. Is there a single young person here in this picture?
No. There were like, I actually did have a protest at my area. But of course, I'm down south. It got so hot. They left after 2 hours. I looked, we had like cameras around where they were doing it because they were doing it at a very like prominent place by a school. And I recognized 0 people. Like there were 0 people. Right. So either they were bussed in from somewhere else, or they were just really old people with nothing else to do with their lives. It was really sad. It probably both. And like you guys may think, oh, that sounds so conspiratorial. Why would they go and bus people into your random city? Well, because it's like a very heavy, deep blood red R district. And so there's just not a lot of people to protest in my area. So they have to bus them in probably from Tallahassee or somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, like, we literally had them admit, like, a couple months ago. You remember those crappy town halls where Democrats, like, sent all their people at?
Yeah.
You remember that, like, Republicans, like, in Utah? And they're like, oh, all these people showed up. And then, like, you ask these people where they came from. It's like, yeah, I drove 5 hours away from, like, Colorado to Utah. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. They literally admitted they drove five hours away to go to a town hall. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of old-ass white people just being bored, and it's people being bussed in. So, and Democrats do this all the time. Remember the Harris campaign? They got caught doing that, like, 10 times.
Yeah,
for the rallies and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely silly. I there's nothing else. It doesn't, like, again, I don't think it's a big news story. I wasn't going to talk about it much, but no kings happened. The parade was really cool. And actually, we argued this. It wasn't as big of a budget as it could be. And honestly, probably helped a lot with military recruiting compared to how much we paid to do that parade on Saturday. So I think it was a success. I think we had a lot of fun. I think Democrats made fools of themselves. So we'll go ahead and move on to the actual juicy news today. Going on a little bit real quick before we keep going. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, share it with your friends, give super chats money to Rep. You feel bad for Rep, right? You feel bad. He's persecuted. He's oppressed. So you got to give him the money. You got to give him the good stuff. And every single time you do, we read out the text you put on it. Think about it. Money in, text out. That's how it works. So I need you guys to get together. Feel very bad for Rap right now. Get that money in there. Get those super chats. But yeah, no, real quick. I was just gonna share the stream. Tell people on my thing we're live. We're live.
Let's see here. K Cub for 2. Losing Rap to an E-Girls like Harris being POTUS. Gosh. American Nerd for 3. No Kane's protests look depressing and pathetic. Yeah, it was only a bunch of old-ass white people that showed up. So
yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
For 5, a cousin of mine from Mexico was trying to convince me of Trump's unpopularity. Source Quinnipiac. I showed her the final seltzer as a reason. Yeah, Quinnipiac is a great pollster, everybody. Sure.
Well, like, wasn't there like a point where Quinnipiac was so bad last year that like they went from like a Harris plus like 5 or 6 poll to like Trump plus 1 over the course of like 2 weeks.
So, it was something crazy like that.
The nation swung 7 points in 2 weeks or something. I'm okay. I'm not. Don't cite me on that. Don't quote me.
Well, it was something like that. Well, not as bad as 2016 or 2020. They literally had Biden winning Ohio by like 4.
Oh my gosh!
I can pull it up actually.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely abominable, dude.
Well, I mean, they're just deleting polls like freaking AP did. They got caught deleting polls because they sucked. I got pulled the Quinnipiac because it was Ohio, I think. They had Biden winning Ohio. Yeah, Biden plus 4. Trump won it by 8. Yeah. Glitch TV for 2 a little late today. Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, Glitch TV, we were on a whole new setup. I was getting my whole thing ready, and I was sitting here waiting, but like I didn't want to start the stream unless it was bad. Let me guys know if the bitrate is okay. I actually have the bitrate pretty low because I don't want to drop any frames. I might raise it up, like if I do this again. But for right now, just let me know if there's anything wrong with stream quality. Tried to keep the volume good. Okay.
Yeah.
We had another super chat wrap.
Yep. I'll read this one, and then you can take it over. Correct mode for 2. No Kane's protest equals a great nursing home migration.
Oh, that's savage. Oh,
that video. There's a video that was trending where it's like literally a nursing home, and like half the people in the nursing home left due to this protest. It's really a real video on Twitter. You gotta find it. I can actually probably pull it up. But yeah, it's a real thing where it's a bunch of people from a nursing home walking out the No Kane's crap. A glitch EV for 2. No, I was a little late. Oh, okay. Good.
Right.
Yeah, John's never
okay.
late.
Yeah, no. I will be early American something. Maybe politics. Mike Nintendo Master was saying that he had a question for me. It's not that I wasn't going to answer your question. It's just because, like, I'm doing the stream thing. I'm watching 3 screens. I'm, like, a little bit distracted. I scrolled up. I found it. At John, will there be a stream every day or just a few days or once in a while? So as Raptor said earlier, he's thinking of adding more editors onto the actual channel, which means that those people could stream. I, as far as I'm concerned, will be doing like the regular streaming until Rap comes back because I like rambling. There's a lot going on in the news. If it was slow, I probably wouldn't do like the normal Rap schedule.
That. It's gonna be what John wants to do. It'd be what they want to do. It's not, I'm not going to guarantee anything. If they want to upload a video, go ahead. That's what I'm saying. If there's nothing going on, which listen, with how crazy things have been the past couple of weeks, you'll have stuff to talk about. But yeah, it'll be whenever John and them feel like it. Again, I'll be in some streams. I think I'm here for a little bit then. But yeah, you probably last time you're gonna see me for a bit. So
yeah. And again, before he goes, just real quick, throw some prayers at Rap and his family when you can think about it right now or later. Just letting you guys know. Just keep them in your thoughts, keep them in your prayers. And otherwise, we'll leave you to do some Red Dead. You're going to do some Red Dead?
Yeah, probably Red Dead. We'll see. But thank you all so much, guys, for the support and stuff. Again, I'm taking my hiatus right now. I don't know. I don't know. I could be back in a week. I could be back in a month. I don't know. But I'll try to keep you guys updated whenever. I'll be on streams when I feel like it. But thank you all so much. John, you're in charge. Don't burn the channel when I'm gone. Please.
We'll try not to burn it down, man.
All right. Thank you all so much. We'll see you guys whenever I feel like it. So peace out.
Alrighty. Well, guys, that's the news as far as Rap is concerned. That's the news with everything else. I appreciate you guys supporting him, supporting us, having fun. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk about the news and everything, politics. And right now, the conversation is more important than it's ever been. Think about the stuff going on around the world. Think about what we have to tell the administration. And I think that's the most important thing. We have such a deeper connection with the admin than we have before. That's what makes these conversations important. That's why I believe Rap will keep doing it. And while he's taking a hiatus, we're going to be keeping it up for him. But yeah, no. We're going to get right into the big stuff, the stuff everybody was blowing up about over the weekend. Lewis, John Rose bought the channel for $1 more billion. Yeah, no, actually, it's a pretty high. We're not a public stock right now, but it's actually pretty high at the value of the channel. It's going up every day, every single day. No, real John politics. No. Oh yeah, Mario for 5. Rap. We appreciate you. John, thanks for taking over. You guys are in my prayers. Continue. I will continue to support you guys. Yep. We've got a lot John 10-hour stream incoming. No, Daniel. I actually do know a guy that did like an 18-hour live stream, but that was pretty crazy. I talked to him after he was wiped. That sounds like pretty intense. I mean, I know it's like sitting and talking. You have to remember though, you know, all these things you used to talk, they still get worn out. You know, your vocal cords and stuff. You know, the jiggly bits in your in your voice. Okay, let's just get to the news, guys. So we've got Iran claims it will resume nuclear negotiations if the United States stays out of the fight. Now, this actually was news that we were getting a little bit earlier. Eric Daughtery posted at about 9 o'clock my time. I'm same time as Rap. I'm Central. But no, this is absolutely insane because I saw it. Everyone else saw it. We were all upset. Everybody got a little panicky because none of us want a forever war. We understand the value of human life, even if it's not our own. And so we were all alarmed by the strikes. And also by the way the Israeli officials and the government itself was behaving towards us. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see how, with no regard for our interests or our lives or anything, they tried to drag us into a war? Now, it looks as though, after the dust has settled a bit today, that Trump is adamantly trying to keep us out of war, trying to keep us out of conflict. Very happy about that. Now, of course, I voiced my complaints. Everybody else did over the weekend because it was a little bit mixed signals for a while. But as it looks, it seems like we were being manipulated by a couple of different news outlets, as well as Israeli state officials. You know, the people that are supposed to say the trustworthy things. They have been actually, it seems like, a little bit deceptive about what the United States administration actually is doing to respond to the conflict. RC for $5 for Rap the Oppressed. Rap, may you and your family stay safe. Guys, the love is wonderful. If you want Rap back on streams, continue giving him love, give him support. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to get into the drama or anything, but like I said, and my wall of text is there. You can go on my account at Real John Rose. You can read the wall of text. It's pretty darn simple. And it's
wall of text. Wow,
really silly. Hello, you are not a wall of text. How you doing, Ye?
I am doing fantastic. I just finished an exam.
Oh wow, that is absolutely. Oh, it sucks. You didn't like it?
No, it sucked. No, I mean I don't like any exam, but especially not like upper level math courses. I'd rather,
Well, I always hated doing those exams because they would always like schedule them at 8 or 9 o'clock at night at the university I was going to. And I hated that. I despised doing like schoolwork at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and not just like doing homework, but it's like a calculus exam. Like, good grief, bro. My brain doesn't work the same at like 9 o'clock as it does early.
I have the opposite problem. Like, I don't like having 10 a.m. exams because I like being able to study the day of, because just waking up and having to remember everything at like 9 a.m. doesn't work for me.
I get that. I
had a 10 a.m. exam, and I was still like, I would much rather have been at like 1 or 2.
Yeah, no. I think I'm like, I actually do prefer that. I think my brain works the best like in the direct middle of the day. But like, yeah, no, morning, like late at night, I would really just rather be doing intensive thought work, right? Yeah, in the early afternoon. Anyone realize the channel name is now just Real American? Yes, I'm already changing things. I'm already adjusting. No, it's always been Real American. Are you silly?
It's his channel now. I don't think you understand.
It's gonna go from Real American to Real John. that's it. No. Anyways, no, man. By the way, it's not gonna just be me, as you heard from Rap. He's gonna give editor to a couple of other people. So you may get a stream. You might get like a Luke stream. You might get a Real Texan stream. Maybe even a Ye stream. I got Ye with me right now. I don't know what a Ye stream would look like. That's like
a Ye stream is me yapping about everything and nothing. Saying lots of words, but also saying nothing at the same time. That's like my special talent.
Why aren't you in politics?
Because I'm 20.
Yeah,
give it like 10 years, man.
All right, looks like we are doing some moderating. I guess I should be paying more attention to chat. Looks like we're seeing some bad stuff on the stream. Guys, can you behave? Can you guys behave a little bit? Come on, guys. Oh no, Luke streams, please. Okay, I'm giving people trauma by talking about this, so let's just keep going.
If I do a stream, I'm demanding 50% of the donations from Rap.
Yeah, no, you gotta get something out of it. I got a couple super chats. Spikes for $2. Did you see the New Jersey poll? Independents are +10. We'll talk about it in a second. I actually have it pulled up. K Cub for $5. Trump We must protect Rel American. You might have heard of him. He's a true patriot who is being attacked by these horrible people, kind of like me. Yeah, no, I think I have a terrible Trump impression, but I think Trump actually would say Rapp's name wrong, just like you spelled it wrong, because every single time like Trump gives a pardon to someone or something like that, he like gives them a different name than their real name. So I think that would be like on par with Trump's pardonings. Did you know the president actually can change your name if he says it wrong? That's your real name.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm a big fan of the famous rapper Little Pimp.
Yeah, Little Pimp. Yeah, no. We are absolutely. You sound like an impression of Ben Shapiro's impression. Oh, like with the Trump thing. Yeah, I absolutely hate Ben Shapiro. So thank you for ruining my morning.
Yeah,
Anyways.
unlucky, buddy.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Iran just completely like folded last night and this morning.
I've never heard of this country before. You mean Iran?
Yeah. It's Iran. Iran claims it will resume nuclear negotiators if the US stays out of the flight. Yeah, no. But anyways, that's from Wall Street Journal. You have any thoughts about like Iran's kind of new movements?
I mean, it's kind of like Israel chose its targets surprisingly carefully, considering their past history. They went after nuclear scientists and the hardline, like pro-nuclear weapon like negotiators, and they left the more moderate ones. Which obviously it's pissed off the ones that remain. That's gonna push them more towards the nuclear side. But also, their nuclear capabilities have been shattered for at least the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to end up negotiating. We'll see how it goes, though.
Yeah, it's something that we have to keep monitoring. We got to monitor the situation, guys. But no, it's pretty crazy that we went from thinking we were about to be dragged by Israel into another forever war, boots on the ground in Tehran. The fundamentalist government goes and hides up in the mountains. We're having to do like 3, 4, 5, 10 years trying to drag them out of the mountains. That would have been so disappointing. Other people are sitting there like, no, that'll never happen. Nothing ever happens. My girlfriend was sitting there calling me stupid for being worried at all because apparently she just has clairvoyance and just saw everything that was going to happen today. But yeah, no. So on top of Iran continuing to resume nuclear negotiations, Iran seeks talks with the U.S. and Israel, sending messages via Arab intermediaries to end hostilities. Wall Street Journal as well. So we have reports that they legitimately are folding. They're just like, we don't want to do this anymore. We're getting hammered. The Israeli strikes are exactly everywhere they want to be. And this kind of folds into what a lot of people have been saying, which is that, you know how there was a bunch of tunnels under Gaza that the Hamas was using. Now it looks like Israel has tunnels in Iran, and it was part of what they were using to get those drones exactly where they wanted them during like attacks. They have intel deep inside of Iran. It seems like Israel just has their number and knows exactly what they're doing at all times. And I'm wondering if that's part of it. I'm wondering if this is what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if Iran's government has become acutely aware of how vulnerable they are and how deep Israeli intelligence has infested their government and their intel. What do you think?
Well, for sure. I mean, the thing with Mossad is probably the only intelligence agency in the world that can match the CIA in terms of pure competence and pure shittery. And honestly, what people don't understand is, yes, we fund Israel quite a bit. I think 90% of our Israeli funding goes to American weapons manufacturing. Like, it goes to American companies, and we then give them a bunch of American gear. So Israel is essentially, if you'd believe it, it is the military arm of the United States in the Middle East, which means it's well funded. It's well, I hate to be the guy because I'm probably the least like Israel skeptic person here, but I still am I'm still not like 100% pro-Israeli.
Right.
But I can't deny their competence, especially considering what they've accomplished in the last week or so.
Mm-hmm. That's the most undeniable part about all of this. And if you see someone denying it and pumping up Iran in the middle of this, I mean, you look really silly this morning. You look really silly. And of course, third worldists always are really good at making themselves look silly. But today you look especially silly. It's a formidable force. Israel up in there. Yeah. Oh, it's the size of a parking lot. It's the size of New Jersey. Doesn't matter. They got billions from us all the time. They've got our high-tech equipment. Their stuff is like a lot of the time higher tech than the stuff that we keep on hand, which is an insult because we're the senior partner in the defense agreement. But anyways, I got some super chats to read. Mike, for 2, real Tyrone politics win. I have a strong feeling you will get a real Tyrone politics stream soon. I know you guys love Tyrone. It would be in the evening, obviously. He can't do it at like this time, but I bet you, if we're opening up the floodgates to other people doing streams, you're going to get a Tyrone stream, guys. American Nerd, for 2, deport Ben Shapiro to Israel or Iran. I completely agree. If you listen to Ben Shapiro for any amount of time, he's either a dual national or recently abandoned his Israeli nationality. I think he's still dual. At the end of the day,
I mean, even if he's not dual, I think he is rite of passage. Even if he gives it up, he could probably just get it back again. Also, right. Very fun news from ABC. Netanyahu says he's not interested in peace talks with Iran. Quote, they want to continue to have these fake talks in which they lie, they cheat, and they string the United States along. Which is interesting.
Well, I'm bringing that up on the stream real quick. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, do you really blame them? I'm like relatively skeptical of Israel, maybe more than Ye. But do you really blame them for saying this? Because we've been seeing this, honestly, between Russia and Ukraine, where there's some fake talks. Like, we got reports that Ukraine went to Turkey to talk to Russia, and apparently all of their advisors just started snorting drugs while they went there. I was sitting there going, what on earth is going on? So this has been happening in other peace negotiations across the world. You just have one side that's a little bit unserious. They want the attacks to stop, but they don't necessarily want peace. And so they're kind of using peace talks as like a way of, calming things down while they get their bearings. And Israel's saying, no, I'm not going to let you get your bearings. You're going to get 1,000 missiles up the butt. Like that seems to be their current position. Okay, a couple more super chats. A glitch TV for 5. A flopped Ivy is a real American patriot who super chats to Wrapped often. Let it be known, he is the greatest super chatter ever known by man. God bless Ivy, you soldier. American Nerd for 5, Breaking Free Movie C, and Calvin Coolidge Project. I believe I have this actually up for the stream. Israel's prime minister says he's not interested in peace talks with Iran. Netanyahu needs to go. I think that's the primary thing. If we're going to say anything anti-Israel today, I have an extreme distaste for the nature of this. I understand they aligned the strikes with Trump's 60 days, but this also happened immediately after there was a no confidence vote in the Israeli parliament, and Netanyahu is about to have to let go of power so that they could hold a special election. I think using an emergency like this, however well-timed it is a disgusting way to keep power and boost your poll ratings. Apparently, if you drop bombs as an American president, you lose numbers. If you drop bombs as an Israeli prime minister, you gain numbers in the polls. Funny how life works. But at the end of the day, I think Bibi should let the democratic process go through in his country. And look, if the other party's bad, if the left wing's bad in Israel, people will find out, and then they'll vote back in his party. He just needs to let things actually happen. But no, instead we have war. And yeah, like I said, I can understand some of their perspective. I can understand why they're doing things. I think the thing I'm most disgusted by with the conflict is just how deeply willing they are to immediately be like, oh, we can't do this on our own. We have to drag you into it. You need to be dragged into this. You need to come and help us, America. Like, okay, no. You started a fight. You preemptively striked. Like, clean it up on your own. If you're going to start a military operation, do it in a capacity where you don't have to rely on your senior partner. And if you want your senior partner to be involved in your military conflict, you get approval from us and you get us on your side militarily before you announce or strike or do things like this. You don't do it after. And this is the whole problem. The problem of sovereignty that we've been talking about over the weekend. Christian Hines posted a little bit about it. He's a good friend of mine, a few other people. We are a sovereign country, and American sovereignty, American identity, American citizenship, all of these things are at the center of the America First platform, making sure citizenship actually matters, making sure our country makes its own decisions, making sure our government serves local interests, not global interests. And at the end of the day, if a tiny country the size of a parking lot several thousand miles away from our country can just randomly decide when we're going to war, we have no sovereignty. And that is an absolute disgrace. And so as far as everything goes, I've been pleased with Trump actually asserting our sovereignty in the recent days, saying, look, we're not involved. We obviously support Israel. We're partners, but we are not involved in this war. He kind of opened the door with a couple of comments for us to join it in the future, but I appreciate the assertion of sovereignty. So let's see here.
Most of the main conditions I see, I think he did make a comment about how, like, if Israel is attacked enough, he may join in, which I think is basically just like when we decide we need to come in kind of thing. But one of the main things we basically told Iran, like, we won't get involved if you don't attack us. Don't attack U.S. air bases. Don't attack U.S. soldiers. Don't strike. Don't strike us, essentially. And if you do, we will get involved, which is pretty reasonable because we haven't done anything so far. We have given them, we gave them the munitions, but that wasn't a declaration of war in World War II either. So as of right now, we're not involved in this, and we need to stay out of it. But if Iran attacks us, Iran attacks us. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think we should have a response. I don't think the response should be a 10-year war, but what we could do is the kind of rhetoric that was described at the RNC last year by the president and vice president, which was basically, if we're going to get involved somewhere, we don't want to waste American lives. We don't want to waste time either. So we're going to hit them hard. We're going to hit them fast. We're going to get an open and shut case. We're not going to do this thing. We're going to do what Russia thought they were going to do at the start of their quote unquote special military operation, where all of their, popular social media influencers were like, bros, this will be 3 days, guys. It'll be 3 days, 72 hours, bros. Yeah, no. We're just going to bomb the shit out of whoever we're messing with, and then we're going to leave.
We're doing first Gulf War, but we're not, like, we're getting in and we're getting out. I mean, the first Gulf War, have you guys seen the Party Starter video?
Party Starter?
The edit of it?
No.
The edit of it where it's the song Party Starter. It's basically, it just shows how overwhelming that war was. It was over in, the casualties on the U.S. side were non-existent. I think we lost one tank that wasn't to friendly fire or something like that. Just complete overwhelming rapid pace. We ended that war quickly and we accomplished that goal. I'm not going to say Iran is going to be as easy of a target, but they don't have nuclear weapons.
Right.
So you can do whatever you really want to them.
Yeah, so no, that's pretty much the point. The fact that Israel has established air superiority is going to be a really big deal. This seems like a deeply, quickly collapsing conflict. I don't know how far Iran is going to fall, but there's a reason that thumbnail is the thumbnail for this stream. It's over, bros. The Iranians are going to start shutting out soon. Okay, so I got super chats. I got to catch up on super chats. Ben Sinex, same thing. Per Calvin Coolidge, Israel has no interest in seeking peace with Iran. Thank you for the $5, Ben. Thank you. You specifically. ILW45, I'm worried about false flags, though, to drag us in. Hopefully, I'm wrong. That's something we were discussing a lot. You saw Charlie Kirk. You saw Jack Poso. A few different people coming up and saying, hey, guys, you're going to see false flags. You guys are going to see attacks happen on U.S. soil, and they're going to try to drag us into this war. Thankfully, nothing ever happens except for the Minnesota thing. I guess we're supposed to talk about the Minnesota thing, but yeah, no.
I mean, yeah,
that's pretty rough. But at the end of the day, we are not currently seeing false flags yet, but stay frosty. That's my advice. Let's see. American Nerd for 3, Netanyahu needs to go and never be PM again. It seems like a majority of Israelis agree with you, American Nerd, but we'll see if opinion changes after this conflict. Man Milk for 2, OPP, built for my BWC. Also, Iran is an Arab state. Yeah, so with that first sentence, those are interesting acronyms. What could they possibly mean? But for the second statement, Iran is an Arab state, an interesting point. Just like how the Ukrainian government is filled with people that have no Ukrainian blood, dual nationals from old Soviet states, and dual nationals from the United States. The Iranian government is actually not mostly Persians. It's actually a bunch of Arabs. And it's almost like a foreign government occupies them, which is why it's easier to believe those leaked polls that we see, from a year ago, 2 years ago, saying 70 to 80% of the population does not like the Iranian government. If you don't believe it and you think it's propaganda, I would, even if you cut 20 points off of it, I still think it's easy to say a majority of the Iranian people do not want the government that's currently installed, which is part of the reason why they are so fragile right now. Let's see. Lord Rhino for 5, didn't Israel's PM, I can't spell his name, that's understandable, dude, say if Israel goes down, then so does the Middle East? People bring up that quote a lot. I don't know how long ago it was. He was years ago, but he still said it, and it was still pretty messed up for him to say it. But like one of the Israeli narratives is basically, we're the bulwark of Western civilization. If we go down, the whole West goes down. We're stopping the barbarians at the gates. Like they're acting like there's some sort of like satellite Roman colony that's like protecting the empire. And if they go down, they're going to flood the gates and we're going to have the hordes of barbarians everywhere. Well, guess what, Israel? We're already being flooded with the barbarians. You let them through the gate. You did a very poor job of defending the gate, Israel. In fact, I actually think many of you are lobbying for it. So maybe stop that. And then we'll talk about you being a satellite colony of the Roman Empire. We'll figure out our LARP later, Israel. You just need to stop supporting mass migration. Okay. Let's see. John Ross, PFP, jump scared. Yeah, I just like having this, and it's like usually part when I'm streaming on my own. I usually just have this set up so people can see when I'm talking. Okay, so I think I've caught up on super chats. God bless you guys. We'll keep going with the news. Let's see. Oh yeah. So let's talk about this. Israel strikes command center of Iran's elite military unit that led Tehran's support for Hamas. I'll read this real quick. The IDF overnight wiped out the command center of Iran's Quds force. I know I'm saying that wrong. Shut up. The elite military unit that served as the main conduit for proxy terror attacks by Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Effie Defrin said Monday. The Quds force has been the main conduit for many of the terrorist attacks and assaults against Israel in the recent decades, he said. Now, the command centers where these attacks were planned have been completely destroyed, unquote. So it sounds like the Israelis not only have, set back the nuclear program a couple of years, seems like that terrorism happening in other countries is going to be curtailed by this recent action. Any comments, Yay, on Israel completely decking Iran's terrorist unit?
I mean, like I said, they're nothing if not competent and ruthless. I feel like if we're giving them, for as much money as we're giving them, and for as much as we're helping them in these conflicts, they're definitely putting in work.
Well, right, and this is something I would always say if someone's talking about Israel. As much as we can critique cultural things, public policy, when you look at the economics of Israel, they have always had an efficient way of using money that's been given. You know, with everybody else, we give money, they waste 90% of it. We give Israel money, and then they're just like building out all of this complex infrastructure. They're figuring out new ways to build farming apparatuses. They're like irrigating, new irrigation techniques, very advanced intellectual stuff going on there. There's probably more progress and development scientifically going on in Israel than there is in a lot of America, which is very sad, but we're going to change that. But yeah, no, it's crazy, and you just can't give him credit. So here's the kind of fearful part, not for us, for the bad people. I'm sorry. Look, Iran's bad. Look, anybody that's trying to say, oh, poor Iran, I think you can have lots of empathy for the people. I don't think you can have a lot of empathy for the foreign government occupying them. But anyways, Israel targeted more than 20 Iranian military and Quds command centers, killing the Islamic Revolutionary Guard's head of intelligence, his deputy, the deputy head of the Quds Force's intelligence organization. The Quds Force is the central terror arm of the Iranian regime. It is responsible for operating Iran's proxies around Israel's borders. So like think Lebanon, Syria, all that stuff, and for distributing weapons and missiles intended for attack on the state of Israel, Defrin said. Okay. So Iran owned once again. They've been owned everything. We have one more owned for Iran before we get on to immigration. I know we've been talking about Iran a bunch, but one more owned for Iran. Let's see here. 2 super chats, it looks like. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. America Nerd for 5. What's worse, an escalated Israeli-Iranian war that gets the U.S. and Russia, China involved, or a civil war in Iran that could destabilize the region? I think he meant destabilize. I believe that it is far worse to do the former than the latter. In some ways, if we're not involved at all in like organically Iran starts a civil war, it'll have negative effects on the world economy, but it could be a long-term good thing for Iran to have a government that maybe not a democratic government, but just a government that better represents the people. And I think the leader of the seculars is like a prince over there. He's got a lot of support. They might want to do a constitutional monarchy or some crap. I don't know exactly what the seculars want in Iran, but I know they don't want what they currently have. Anything will probably improve the situation. A lot of people look at stuff like Syria and go, well, I don't know about letting civil war break out and letting them do that. But you have to understand these people are already very weak, and you'd probably just end up having a secular government in Tehran that would be occasionally being attacked from the north, wherever the fundamentalist government goes and hides. Anyways, yeah, definitely think the latter one's worse. Pick up for 5. Effective move in the Middle East. Wait, you can actually do that? President George W. Bush upon seeing Israel's effective move against Iran. Yeah, I know you guys aren't going to remember it, and I don't remember it too well. I was pretty young when this happened, but every single time we get involved in these conflicts, it's like the first 6 months or so where things are going really well. It's only when the conflict drags on that things start slowing down and nothing happens. We're just caught in forever wars. But yeah, that's kind of where Israel is right now. Right now, Israel knows exactly what it wanted to do. It had been planning for this probably for years. So it was ready out of the gate. Lord Rhino for 5. There was a pro-Iran protest here in Britain over the weekend. I don't know why. That is strange. I usually think of, it actually does make sense because like your left wing is like that. But the right wing, I was assuming in your country is like a lot more philo-Semitic. So it is kind of funny. Don't know. Jacob Hawley for 5. Iran 51st state win for democracy, of course. Never, Jacob. I know.
What is Iran's population again?
Oh, no, they're pretty big here.
I was say it's tens of millions, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it has to be. It's 92 million, dude.
I was gonna say, it's like it's a big fucking place.
It would be the largest state in the United States, and it would be filled with people who despise us. So no, we're not.
Well, it's kind of like the Canada thing, right? Like we make them part of America, but we don't give them voting rights until they learn to act like humans.
That's fair. I think that's a lesson needed for both Canada and Iran equally.
I was gonna say,
So,
I'm pretty sure Canada needs it more.
No. Okay. Last news story for Ren. Want to get to immigration. Israeli jets struck Iran's state broadcasting headquarters in Tehran. On-air view from one of the studios as Israeli bombs hit the building. I'm going to put this in general for you if you haven't seen it. I think you probably have seen it, yay. But I am also just going to like play it for these guys real quick. It is actually, I guess I should feel bad for this, but it just feels like a cartoon watching this video. So you guys just need to look at this real quick. Good freaking grief. Like I don't even know how to like respond to that, guys. It's so ridiculous what we're looking at. But yeah, no, that was like their propaganda wing, guys. That was where they like pump out all the stuff and, you know, tell their citizens, oh, everything's fine. We're gonna destroy Israel, we're gonna glass Israel, and then we're gonna nuke America, and then glory to Iran. Yeah, no, that's all gone. It's all gone.
I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm not like I said, I guess we're going back to I don't want to go back to the Palestinian issue too much, but like they've pretty effectively chosen their targets. They haven't, like, you've seen the precision strikes, like they've hit specific apartments with bombs. Like apartment, like individual apartments, not even like not even like a complex.
No.
And yet you look elsewhere and it's like it's just wanton destruction.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's funny. There's with the alternative strategies. Israel has been thinking for a really long time about how they want to strike, and then they strike these specific things. I think Iran may have less precise missiles, but at the end of the day, whether they do or don't, they have a planned target, and we're used to this kind of deception from other places. They say their target's one thing, and they hit another thing, and they go, oops. A lot of people accused Israel of that for the past 2 years when they were doing attacks on the Gaza Strip. But with Iran, this is, I think I know where the Israelis learned this playbook from, if that was going on. So, yeah, but no, either Iran's missiles are really inaccurate or they just really love missing their targets. Not sure exactly what, but yeah, wanton destruction more so with Iran strikes in Tel Aviv. With Israel, we're getting your state media. We're getting your nuclear scientists. We're getting your generals out. We have air superiority. Screw you. Let's see here. A couple super chats. American Nerd for 5. Israel is like Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb in that every scheme they try just backfires badly by their incompetence or by an outside force. Not sure I necessarily agree with that. They seem like their plan's going pretty well right now, but I think there's other times, or like even with like the way Israel's talking to America right now, please get involved in conflict with us, please, forever war, please. No. Lord Rhino for 5. Yeah, the British right is pretty pro-Israel, but just because they are against Islam. Yeah, you get exposed to that counter civilization, and it really doesn't. And again, I can say that neutrally. I can say that without any disdain in my heart for the Islamic people across the planet. It's just a separate civilization. They have different customs. They have a different culture. They have a different way of doing commerce. They have a different way of taxing people. They have a different way of treating women. They have a different way of doing X, Y, Z. And when you go into a fully sex-segregated society built upon mercantilism that Islam was used to under the dominance of the Ottoman Empire, you are encountering a different civilization. Ottomans are gone. People are still here. It's really crazy to invite millions of people from a separate civilization into your country with zero assimilation. You think about the East Asians, and like they're about as foreign can get. But at least when we bring in people from countries we've invaded or countries we've conquered or whatever, they just assimilate. They just try to act like white people. They just try to act like an average American. But with the with some of these Muslims, when they get into a large concentration, they're just importing their country into your country, and that doesn't work. And I think that's what the British people have figured out. Now they have Islamic mayors over like major towns, and they're sitting there like, I don't even want to live in this town anymore, because not necessarily because the people there are evil, or not necessarily because they're doing bad things. I just don't fit in. And what a horrible thing to do to a native, like not fitting into your own country anymore. That's like a pretty, you'd think the people that whine about colonialism would be upset about that.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because like America, we have our own immigration problems. Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that illegal immigrants from Mexico are like wonderful and splendid and fantastic, but in comparison to the kinds of like stuff that they're getting in the UK and like Western Europe, I mean, it couldn't be more stark.
Yeah. No, the immigration is very different. And I think that's the thing. When Europeans laugh at American migration numbers or demographics, right wingers, obviously. But when they laugh at us about that, I sit there and go, listen, we have problems, but as far as I'm concerned, we have solvable problems. And as long as you guys keep importing people from separate civilizations into your country, you're going to have problems. I don't necessarily consider the Hispanics to be of a precisely different civilization. There's a lot of concepts that we share. They broke off from an empire. They tried to form, a kind of self-governing republic. They failed, but they tried. And that's like the point. They're part of the DNA and culture of the West. And so as much as they're different and as much as I think we need boundaries, we're able to cooperate with them a lot better than we probably would with the Pakistanis in Britain or, whoever the crap they're inviting into France nowadays. Anyways,
I was gonna say, like, you can Mexicans and Hispanics in general, you can assimilate them pretty easily. Like they're not that far removed from American culture,
right? They
but,
just
like
fluent English. They need to be taught by our schools, taught by our trade schools, and by our universities. They need to be completely integrated and assimilated. Like they need to love the American flag. They need to stop waving their Mexican flags. They need to sell or give away their Mexican flags. But like, if they commit to the bit,
right? You can't have a nation where like you cannot have a nation that is made up of people who still hold allegiance to their home.
Yeah,
like you cannot have a people that are flying Mexican flags or flying Canadian flags or flying French flags. Like even okay, and here's the thing: even if I critique foreign flag flying in general, there is a minor difference in being like an Irish American and like flying a flag outside your house, and then being Mexican and rioting while flying a Mexican flag. Two different things. Even if I don't think the other one's that really good either. I think as an American, your allegiance should be to America and not the country that you left for a reason.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And we'll get more into immigration talk here. I'm just going to read the super chats and then we're going to move to the next story, which is immigration based. Gotta take their oil, John. Jacob Holly for 5. Gotta take their oil. I gotta make money on my investments. We got a nation build. And that's really fun. I was talking to a guy who's like a couple decades older than me, middle-aged, but he helps me out with stuff. And it was really funny. He was telling me like, yeah, just like invest stocks in oil. And the reason you do it is not because it's actually like something good or something you want to invest in. It's basically just because, well, if gas gets really expensive, you're making money. If gas gets cheaper, then you get the normal benefits of gas being cheaper. So it's just like, if you really want to be protected against gas prices rising, just get stocks in oil. I think that was a funny bit of advice. The true equalizer. American Nerd for 5, June 2025 is the month. All of 2025 is just happening, apparently. Yeah, it's all the happenings. All the happenings, American Nerd. OSZ on X, Ben Cynics for 5. OSZ on X compared the June New Jersey poll to the one in 2021, D+3 this year, D+12 in 2021. We'll talk about that, and maybe it'll be a good break because, like, Iran and immigration, really heavy topics. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. Let's see here. Where did I have it? Going through all of my tabs. Where did I put the poll? I swear I had the poll up, guys. Ah, darn. Okay, well, anyways, that's like the thing that everybody's talking about is essentially that the New Jersey governor is winning with independents really hard. He's winning, I think, by 8 points right now. Someone commented when I posted that the previous governor to win, I believe, is Chris Christie. He was doing a little bit better with independents, like +10. But, Chitterelli, however you say his name, Jack is in the window to win that race. He's absolutely, it's like a tilt R race, maybe starts leaning over the next couple of months even further in his favor. That's looking really good. Winning 8 among independents. Yeah, do you have any thoughts about the New Jersey governor? R versus D, Republican versus Democrat, Jack Ciattarelli. He's 8 points up among independents right now. Any thoughts?
It's interesting. So I don't think that Ciattarelli is going to get the Hispanic numbers that Trump got. I don't think that means he loses Passaic County. I think he still wins it with a more white heavy coalition. I'm going to be honest with you. I do think he's favored to win. Or I think he's going to be favored to win on election day because he was down 12 at this point in 2021, and then he lost by 3. Now he's down by 3. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm not going to say these polls are going to extrapolate exactly to one end, and he's going to win by, what would that be, 6 points?
Yeah.
But I think he is going to be favored when all is said and done. I think he's going to do a little bit better with whites, a little bit worse with Hispanics. It just depends on how Mikey, was it Cheryl?
Yeah,
It just depends on how she does. I think she is an overperformer. Like, she's not a weak candidate, but Phil Murphy is underwater. Trump has an even approval rating. He's made massive gains among pretty much every demographic, including rich whites, educated whites in the state. I think Ciattarelli is going to be favored, even if it's going to be a blue leaning year.
Right. The year could lean blue with all the other races, and we're definitely losing Virginia. But with New Jersey, I could see. I legitimately in my head, I'm not an expert on this election Twitter stuff as you guys are, but +1, +1 like I'm in that tilt range right now. I think it's tilting towards Jack, and of course we got a lot of time. It has a lot of time to change, but I think that New Jersey governor race is a big hopium source.
Yeah, it'll also be good. It'll also be good to see. Obviously, I'm not expecting Ciattarelli to outperform or even match Trump with Latinx folks, but I would be interested to see just how much ground he loses, especially in comparison to how much he gains with white voters.
Right.
Because I think Trump did win white New Jersey voters, but it wasn't by a huge margin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely will be close. But my point that I would say, I know I saw someone, I'm going to get to the super chats, but I saw someone saying in chat that they thought that he would lose, that he'll lose worse than the Virginia race. I could not disagree more with that. I actually believe he has a chance at winning. I don't think we have a chance of winning Virginia. And the main thing that I look at when I'm looking at the governor race in New Jersey is 2021. This guy loses by 3 points to the other candidate. Now there's a fresh Democrat candidate, not the incumbent, and the whole country between 2021 and today moved right a few points. And so if the country's moved right further than 3 points, and basically everybody voted the same, then he's like tilt R. It sounds like that's the reasoning I do. It's very broad reasoning, but that's where I go with it. Couple super chats. Lord Rhino for 10. Britain, Western Europe in general, is going to have a huge problem if a large-scale war breaks out. It'll be a civil war between different ethnic groups, and the Europeans will suffer from it. Well, more than that, Lord Rhino, this is something we've been facing in America, is if the government hates you, why would you fight for it? And the whole thing is that right now, not only do the Western European governments hate their people and not represent their people properly, we have some of the most unpopular administrations currently open. Look at Keir Starmer's numbers; it's pretty bad.
You see those by-election results?
Oh yeah, are you talking about the councils? Or yeah. I mean, Reform just completely swept everything. I think they got 500 seats or something like that in local council elections. Pretty bad for the establishment party, which is both Labour and Conservatives over in the UK. But yeah, right now, what I'm saying, my point generally is just, how are you going to get native British people to sign up for the army and fight if there's a war? And also, how are you going to get these foreigners who basically see the entire government as a piggy bank and nothing more? How are you going to get them to be patriotically defending the country, going up and taking arms? They came here to get your free housing, to get your free medical care, and to get your free food. Why on earth would they go and fight for you? Why would they go? You think they're just so grateful for all that free stuff you gave them that they're going to go take a bullet for you. No, that's not how this works. But
definitely not.
America Nerd for 2. We need to send all funds to New Jersey and ignore VA. Well, the only reason that I agree on like on kind of the idea that you're giving, not like literally, but I understand the sentiment of your post. The reason I agree with it is just because Sears has been proving over and over again, according to Virginia Project, according to a few other people who have been trying to campaign with her for years, actually, not just this year, but in years prior. She doesn't coordinate well. She doesn't manage her group well. She kind of phones in a lot of work. I don't think that she has the motivation, personally, the personal motivation or will to actually win this election. You have to have that to be able to win.
It was always going to be an uphill battle. I mean, okay, I'd have to look. The results were very close, but like, which state was redder? Was it Virginia or was it New Jersey?
I believe it was New Jersey. I think Virginia was 5 points and New Jersey was 4.
No, I think New Jersey was 5. Let me,
I think it was 5.
But either way, it's already going to be an uphill battle. Virginia trended left. It only moved like 3.5 points. And I'm not going to, obviously, I don't believe in 1-to-1. If the nation moves right 6 points, a state has to move right 6 points to be right trending. I don't believe in that. I think it's a solid, like, I think it's probably 2 or 3 points rather than 6. Because with Hispanic trends, you really have to account for that. Anyways, Virginia trended left. New Jersey was the second most right-swinging state in the nation. And what Trump is doing with the federal government and USAID, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But it is making Virginia unwinnable, at least in the short term. The backlash against Republicans is just too harsh. I think it said something like 20% of the state either was or knows somebody who's being affected by these government cuts. It's a sacrifice you have to make because we weren't winning Virginia anyways. But it does make it so that you probably just put all your money into New Jersey instead.
No, absolutely. It seems like we need to have money going to the right places. We had money going to the wrong places last year. It would be good for the GOP and the RNC to get their crap together and allocate funds to where we will actually move ground. And if we see unmotivated candidates or we just see poor messaging, which I would bring up, I could talk about Sears throwing out an email, and she tried to talk about slavery. Just to let you guys know, Winsome Sears, although she is of African descent, is not a foundational Black American. She is a naturalized citizen from Jamaica. And yes, she did service in our military. Thank you for your service, Winsome Sears. But no, you don't get to pretend that you're a Black person that went through like slavery in the United States. For all we know, maybe your ancestors participated in slavery. I don't know that. I haven't looked it up, but it gets pretty ambiguous when you leave the States. It's just, I don't like this grift, and it started because of the way Obama made race baiting really vague, and we just need to stop it. We need to have migrants and naturalized citizens stop pretending that they're Black people, because that's where all this persecution complex comes from. Okay. Anyways, so don't like that. Don't like Sears' messaging. We'll move on to immigration. We'll talk about it. But let me read the super chats. Let's see. Jacob Hawley, 420. Thank you. Oppressed Rap will appreciate the $20. Absolutely. Get your super chats in for the Oppressed Rap. He needs the money to sue. No. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Anyways, looks like the Zoran guy might win the New York race. I'll laugh if that happens. He also said he wants to defund police and fire police to save money to give to teachers. Dumb. 1980s New York here. We come again. 1980s New York, here we are again. Chicago 2.0.
You know what this is about to do? I don't like bringing in electoral implications to this, because I think it's not worth the suffering that New Yorkers are going to feel from this. Because I don't think people understand. There are like Obama, like liberal, not even like Obama, but now Trump people. Like there are Obama staffers and like like treasury workers that are saying this guy is going to bankrupt the city. He's going to fuck up the housing. He's going to cause a whole bunch of issues. And I'm not saying Andrew Cuomo is this wonderful guy. I think he's a morally reprehensible, outside of just being a Democrat, but he's even more morally reprehensible than most of like the progressive liberals.
Yeah.
But Mamdani is he's such, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he's going to ruin the city. And we've seen this over and over again.
So
Brandon
we've
Johnson
seen the policies.
has like a 10% approval rating.
Oh, I saw one as low as 6% for Brandon Johnson. But with Zoran, number one, everybody knows about the rent freezing. Rent freezing doesn't work. Here's the case. We have real life examples, which is not normal in politics, of it not working. Go look at San Francisco and you see a perfect case study for not doing rent freezing. Like there's like a crazy homeless population in San Francisco. And then beyond that, now he's talking about turning almost like a large portion or almost the entire substation in New York, unused places and the general area. He's going to make it a homeless shelter. He's going to have social workers going down there and taking care of and managing homeless people lying around inside of the subways, which, by the way, don't know if you knew this, but if you start offering free stuff to homeless people in an area, more homeless people come to the area. So New Yorkers are going to have their subs flooded with more homeless people looking for care from very overstaffed and overworked, understaffed and overworked social workers. They're actually going to turn the unused parts of the subway station into hospitals. So you're not going on a transportation journey anymore. You're not using the sub to get from one part of the city to another quickly. You're walking into a hospital of homeless people in the bottom streets. It's going to be so bad. And it's really funny because that is also another example of something they tried. I believe in Philadelphia, they called it the Hub of Hope in Philadelphia. The Hub of Hope. It completely destroyed what they were doing in Philadelphia. So it's really funny. Zoran is a guy, he's running a campaign on failed ideas. Like not untested ideas, not ideological ideas, bad ideas we've already tried and failed at. So,
I mean, yeah.
That is just...
if you want to see JD Vance break 40% in New York City in 2028 and probably win the state entirely, I mean that's how you do it. But I don't think it's worth like cheering him on in the hopes that he wins, so that does happen, because the damage that will be done to that city.
No, New York's Republican. New York's Republican again. Woohoo! And then the city is just like ashes. No,
yeah, I mean, if the city is bankrupt, I mean, that's just it's. Believe it or not, I'm not praying for for New York City to fucking fail, but I mean, I'm just saying what's going to happen if it does.
We want Cuomo to win that race, not because we like Cuomo, but because we don't want New York in ashes. But if he loses, and they get Zoran, and they implement the failed policies of Chicago, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, and maybe even some from LA into New York City all at the same time, well, we're going to have pretty good electoral prospects in New York going into the future. But yeah, it's really funny, really practical advice. If you're ever running a city or running something, don't do the stuff that everybody already failed. Okay. American Nerd for 3, Sear only became lieutenant governor because of Youngkin, right? And unfortunately, it's because of Youngkin that she's now running for governor. I wish Youngkin had, I don't know what was going on in the back doors. Wish he had picked someone else. Is 420 for 2. What happened to rap? Jesus Christ is king. I am running the channel for him for a little bit. He's not leaving the internet. He's not going anywhere, but there's been drama. He's dealing with it. He's going to address it on his own. But he came on the stream at the start, said he didn't do nothing. I put out a big wall of text. He didn't do nothing. People are accusing him of crap. It's stupid. It's really dumb drama. But yeah, you can check that out on it. Hey, we got Luke in the stream. You got here, Justin.
We got Mager Mao, and this is your daily reminder that there is no king besides Burger King. Thank you. You have the floor, John.
This is a truth nuke. Oh my god.
Truth nuke. Yeah, guys. I have to get through the rest of the super chats, but we're very happy. We're going to talk about immigration in a sec. We talked about Iran, and we've talked about a couple of like local races. We're going to get to immigration next. K-Cub for 2 thoughts on the Wisconsin governor's race. If you got any, I'm pretty head empty, but if either of y'all have something to say about Wisconsin governor race, you guys can go ahead and do that.
That's a Luke topic, not me. I don't know much about it.
I think if Showman is the nominee, we have a shot. If he's not the nominee, we're cooked. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I don't really feel like elaborating. Showman seems to be running a very locally based campaign, but it seems like some Karen from upstate wants to, we call up north. I call it upstate, same thing. She's a Karen. She's basically a Rebecca Clayfish clone. She wants to run. She's the president of the state senate. She runs. We're probably going to get cooked because she's also a quite extreme on abortion. So, yeah. Don't we love conservative women candidates being electable? They're not. Anyways, yeah, that's my saying on Wisconsin governor.
Now, there you go, K-Cub. That's why I'm always thankful to have Luke around, thankful to have you around, other people, because there are subjects.
I am the Wisconsin expert. I'm also a renowned travel blogger now. There's also John Rose recommended I started an ARG too, so that might be in the future. We'll see.
If you want to see horrible things happen fictionally to Luke, make sure you let us know in the comments. Super chat if you want to see horrible things happen to Luke.
Subscribe to my channel at Great Lakes Politics. At Great Lakes Politics. I'm Jay Gagnon, and the picture is me soy facing at a good view. So,
all right, American Nerd for 2. Republicans have a better chance at NYC than VA. Don't know about that, but funny to say. American Nerd for 3.
I mean, if Cuomo runs separate and Zoran runs, they might with Sliwa because of the split vote. Because there'll be like 3 Democrats on the ballot then. So we'll see. Potentially.
Right. American Nerd for 3. Is Sears even running on Youngkin's success? Kind of, not really. Like, you can go and look at her platform. It's pretty bare bones. She hasn't put a lot of work into it. And I have no idea. I don't even know what the plan is. I don't think there is a plan. I think she just wants you to hand her the governorship. Olivia Williams for 2, talking about the drama. I addressed the drama in a giant post on X at Real John Rose. Everybody else has addressed the drama, but to just kind of like talk about your point without talking about what you said, Olivia, we do appreciate the super chat. We really do. It's all going to Rap. He appreciates it. We don't understand either. We don't understand why anything happened this weekend. It's deeply confusing. All of us were like talking.
Losers are being losers and not doing anything with their life.
That's the best way to say it. Losers are being losers. They're doing nothing with their life, and they're potentially putting real people in harm's way, which is the part that bothers me. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, please support Rap. Please support the channel. Like, subscribe, comment. If you like me and you want more streams from me, just let me know. But also, let us know if you want streams from other people, because Rap's thinking about giving other people access so we can all hang out.
Hey, she gives me access because no one watches my stream. Too many bad people watch my stream. So if I could stream on this channel and get better people watching me, that would be great. Instead of people talking about femboys. Okay, I'm tired of that in chat. Whoever's doing that in chat, please stop. Thank you. I want my sanity back. Okay, you have the floor, John.
Object Class Cater for 10. Until we clean the swamp, making them move out, affecting Nova, VA will not be on the table anytime soon. The drain, the swamp, biggest critics live in VA. VA will have the biggest loss of population due to that. We do see a bunch of houses for sale up in Nova, but another thing we've been talking about, Object Class Cater, is that it's actually the rich men that moved into Richmond. They're actually causing Virginia to go blue. So it's not as easy a picture as, oh, well, let's just get all the bureaucrats out of North Virginia. I think that'll help margins. But
what I'll say, Trump actually did better in 2024 in Nova than he did in 2016. So Nova really isn't the issue. It's Richmond. And even Virginia Beach.
It's not the Richmond north of Richmond. It's the Richmond that moved into Richmond.
In Richmond.
Mario G for $5. John, if New York can take California homeless, I won't be mad as a Californian. Yeah, wouldn't that be wonderful? We start deporting people out of California. We're saving California and making New York City the dumping ground. What a beautiful picture you've drawn, Mario G. I'm so proud of you. Oh, geez. But yeah, let's see. Lord Rhino for 5. I'm not a pervert. I'm Italian. Andrew Cuomo is still a fairly funny quote. That is my
favorite quote, I will say.
And you know, you guys know I go to a Greek Orthodox church. I'm around Greeks. Greeks have a lot of those Italian habits of like, you know, kissing and like kind of weird hugging, and like it was really uncomfortable when I first got there. But you know, I can say the Greeks, Italians, they're not perverts. They're just like from a different culture, man. You know, same thing with Cuomo. Gotta believe him.
It's not perverted. He's just Italian.
Giuliani. After Cuomo said that, Rudy Giuliani came out and defended Cuomo. So that's one thing that unites Italians, is that they're not perverted, they're just Italian.
Yeah. All right. Eric CB for $5. New York would be a much better state without New York City. Rest of the state is as red as Ohio or Indiana. I mean, I totally get that. We're not ever going to be in a situation where New York proper can ever be separated from the incestuous cancer that's New York City. But no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Illinois, right? Because it's like, what was it, 30 out of 30 something counties in Illinois wanted to secede from Chicago. Same thing with Oregon. Same thing. This isn't ever going to happen.
Illinois is this. Because it's a blue state, it's governed like it's a 100% blue state, but all of the sheriffs outside of the Chicago area are Republicans. So when the state government does like a law, the sheriffs just don't enforce the law, so nothing gets done.
Nothing ever happens.
Well, yeah. Well, no. Even in the Chicago, even in the collar, the sheriffs don't do it, because I think the sheriff of it's the county, like it's the little square one that's like kind of in between Chicago. You know what I mean? The one that's right to the left of it.
Yeah, it's DuPage County. Yeah, they have a Republican sheriff. Yeah,
they have an uncontested Republican. Pretty much every Republican governor is not enforcing the assault weapon ban. So it's up to the state police.
No, that is pretty crazy. And yeah, I think the most important, most insulting part of what Luke said just now is the implication that crime is actually prosecuted, or that law is enforced in the state of Illinois and Chicago. So it's like, oh, it's not enforced in all the red counties. Well, do they enforce law in the blue counties? I don't think so. No. I'm just.
Well, it comes down to like when they ban assault rifles, you know?
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's horrible. I actually, isn't there a current legal case going on now where I believe Harmeet Dillon of the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ is now going to be prosecuting states that are violating Second Amendment rights? Did you guys see that?
That's a W. That's a W. A certain individual in the Milwaukee GOP thinks that she's a Khalistani plant, though, so she's actually evil. So we can't trust her. Yeah, it's very sad.
Unfortunate. But yeah, no, I actually believe that we have the Civil Rights DOJ, instead of going after the majority population of the country for being the majority population or being Christian or just existing or having opinions, now they're going after states that are trying to violate our stuff. And here, I actually pulled it up for you guys so you guys can look on the stream. Take a look. A.G. Dillon, the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. See you in court, Illinois. So
yeah. So here's the thing: I think we're getting an assault weapons ban ruling from the Supreme Court. Maybe not by the end of this year, but by the end of the next SCOTUS term. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's always the chance that the courts do like a narrow ruling, but I don't know. I have a little bit of a bad feeling about how that's going to go, even though we have a 6-3 court. There is just that chance because Roberts isn't going to want to do it.
Yeah, it's the guy that's the Chief Justice Roberts. He's absolutely. And the worst part is he's like in his 50s, so he's still got another 30 years or so up there. But he's absolutely abominable. in terms of his rulings. He's pretending to be moderate. We don't need people that pretend to be moderate. We need people that believe in the law and that are not trying to worry about optics, but are worrying about what the U.S. Constitution actually says. So
it's all. I think it all comes down to Amy Coney Barrett, because obviously Kavanaugh is pretty good on guns. What is his name? It is slipping me. His Trump's first appointment.
Gorsuch.
Yeah, Gorsuch. Like, Gorsuch is pretty good on guns, and obviously Clarence Thomas and Alito are both going to rule in favor of the Second Amendment. Although I do have to ask.
Back in like 15 minutes.
Wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, didn't Roberts vote in favor of DC v. Heller? Or was he not on the court yet?
I don't recall. I do not recall.
Let's do a quick looky-loo.
Looky-loo.
For those who don't know, DC v. Heller is a 5-4 ruling that basically says it protects an individual's right to keep and bear arms. So keep in mind, all 4 Democrats on the court basically said that the Second Amendment does not give you the right to bear arms. So be glad that we have that 5-4 decision. Let's see. Yeah.
Somebody in chat saying John Roberts is 70, bro. Oh, dude, you're right. He looks so young usually when I see him. Maybe he
that
just
portrait
has some...
that portrait is from 20 years ago. I'm not even kidding. That's from 2005.
Oh man.
Yeah, he looks 50, but he's 70 because you're looking at a portrait from when he was 50.
Yeah, I might be a little retarded, guys. Okay,
he's all grayed out now. But yeah, let me see. Yeah, Roberts did vote in favor of DC v. Heller. So assuming he hasn't changed his mind, I think he will actually vote in favor of the Second Amendment this time. Maybe.
Hey, let me pull up John Roberts 2025. I just want to look at what he looks like nowadays. Now it's trying to bring up a musician. Dadgummit. Okay, yeah, I see. He's grayed out. He's got some more wrinkles. He's a little bit grayed out, but he still looks very similar. I think he's probably aged a bit gracefully. I'm looking at a picture from the inauguration. Yeah, he's anyways, yeah, but yeah, I was looking at the 2005 portrait off of Wikipedia. Yeah, no. Anyways, okay. 2 super chats. Jacob Hawley for 20. I used to think like you. Now I want the progressives to ruin themselves. If he wins New York, I want it to fail to show the pain and disgrace they do to America. Elect Mamdani, guys. I want them to learn. The only king is MLK. Oh gosh, I don't think Grapp will appreciate me doing an MLK truther moment here, so we're just gonna move past that. Guys, please keep your humanity, keep your love, and remember, accelerationism is very silly and doesn't work. Let's see, K-Cup for 5. Luke. Oh, so Luke's gone, but we'll talk about it anyways. Thoughts on Showman's "How do you screw up beer in Wisconsin" post? Where he is in front of the bar with the gay stuff? I died laughing at that.
You literally made him appear.
I made Luke rejoin.
Wait, I hear Wisconsin, and then what did I miss? What did I miss?
Okay, so we got a super chat asking for your thoughts on Showman's quote, "How do you screw up beer in Wisconsin" post. Do you know what he's talking about?
No, I don't. Let me look at his Twitter. Give me a second.
Yeah. Showman was in front of a bar with gay stuff, and he was like asking, "How do you screw up beer in Wisconsin?"
Okay, let me look up. Okay, I forgot how to spell his name. I forgot there's a C in there. Let's take a look. How do you screw up beer in Wisconsin?
While you're doing that, Caden H for 2. Biggest fraud of the Trump admin: Pam, Cash, or Dan?
Well, no, Minocqua Brewing Company is like a pretty big beer kind of brand. It's a pretty big brand in Wisconsin, and they're pretty progressive. But no, I don't think this is disqualifying because he stood in front of a pride flag. I'm sorry, guys. It's not even it's the main thing. It's just on the side. Bro, calm down. This is why you lose.
I think he's just laughing at it.
This is what the left does with the purity testing thing. Because like, okay, maybe people in chat aren't, but I know some people who are like on like kind of the extremes, cough cough L carbo, who would like spaz out over this. So
yeah,
we don't need to do the purity.
Unfortunately, we're not electing the Polish guy that would put the LGBT book through the paper shredder. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But,
we're not at Carol Malrati Republican levels yet.
Yeah. But with your thing, Caden, I'm gonna probably avoid that. I know like rap really loves like rambling about that kind of thing. I think there's some losers in the Trump admin. I think there's a lot of winners, but I don't have. None of them have pissed me off enough yet for me to really ramble. I promise you'll get it when I get there, but I'm a little bit. It's a little. I'm a slow boil, guys.
Outside of Musk, but he left. So
why does John feel like the Brandon Perna of red politics? I don't know who that is, Mike. So I'm just gonna go with it. Let's see. Gnome's not really in charge. Colton, yeah, I totally agree with that.
What if I were to tell you that he was? What if I were to tell you that he was a homosexual serial killer? I'm kidding.
Man, so with what I did this past weekend, I don't think anyone can accuse me of being a homosexual. But anyways, nearly 1 million illegal immigrants have, quote, self-deported under Trump, which has led to higher wages. And I really wanted to talk about this before the stream ends. I mean, we might go a little bit longer because I don't have the same kind of time restrictions as Rap does, but I really wanted to talk about immigration, guys. While ICE arrests and deportations have grabbed headlines, President Trump is running a separate but complementary mass deportation program, one that encourages aliens here unlawfully to go home voluntarily. And if reports are correct, that plan is more successful than anyone could have imagined. Based on government data, Center for Immigration Studies, it is conservatively estimated, they're giving a random number for illegal immigrants. But yeah, no, the point of this article is essentially that we have like, what was it, like a month over month, like 0.4% rise in consumer like wages of American workers. A bunch of foreigners have left the American market, and that is opening up jobs for Americans. We have like over 1 million Americans that have hopped into the job market again since the start of the Trump administration. It's really been quite the ride, guys. And as you guys know, we have more native people employed, less foreign people employed, and our wages are going up. So what do you guys think about this news?
It's very interesting because, like, you would think, like, no shit, if you remove a chunk of the working market, the working force away, if you take them out of the equation, there are now less workers, which means there are job openings that need to be filled, and that compounds with the fact that because there are less workers, they have to offer a higher wage. That's just part of it. That is just how economics works. And there's been like arbitrary study after arbitrary study. People will show, oh, immigrants have no effect on wages. They have no effect on like white collar wages, and they still do because of H-1B. But no, illegal immigrants don't have an effect on white collar wages, but blue collar wages have a massive effect on that.
No. No, it goes back into the whole thing. The Republican Party is in inertia. It has to move towards being the working class party just because that is the sweet spot. That's where their votes are. And at the end of the day, these policies directly benefit the working class. The financial class may not be very happy, but the working class, your voters, very happy. Any thoughts, Luke, on 1 million immigrants leaving the country? Almost 1 million, not quite. Almost 1 million immigrants leaving the country and American wages rising.
I like that. I want to see more deportations, and I want to be, I know it's kind of hard, but I want there to be a discussion that starts in contemporary politics, not just on here, about legal immigration, as every country in Europe has been doing now. There is always discussion in Europe about legal immigration. When they're talking about immigration, it's not just illegal like in America. And I still think I'm seeing way too much from the White House of we want a big door in that wall for all the people to come in. And it's like, I don't think that's, the
Overton window, you have to give it time. Here's the thing. I talked
we don't
earlier,
have time.
I was talking about this. Well, you can't. If you rush into something like this, you're just going to make the admin unpopular. Anyways, I was talking about this earlier.
It's not unpopular, though. It's popular. Limiting legal immigration is popular.
Anyways,
Go on.
I was talking about this with John earlier on stream. The reason that Europe is able to do that is because they get an immigrant class that is much more violent, much poorer, has access to like national benefits that they don't have. The thing with illegal immigrants in America, or like immigrants in America, they're not as bad as the average illegal or asylum seeker going to the UK, for example. Both in terms of the ability to assimilate, in terms of crime rate, in terms of poverty. So the problem is America isn't getting immigrants as bad to the point where we can go, we need less of them coming legally as well.
Well, so I understand that. And so I agree with both of you, actually. And to talk about what I agree with Ye, I do think that there's just a separate civilization being imported into Europe. And that there's a little bit more similarity with the Hispanics that come over the border. But what I would say, it's been very distinct these past 4 years. These past 4 years under Biden, instead of getting the kind of immigration we got under Obama, the kind of immigration we got over Trump, the illegal immigration under Biden was from the entire planet. And so we still had plenty from Latin America and from Central America, but we also got stuff from Eastern Europe, from Asia, and we started getting some of that more violent immigration, and it has caused fear. It's caused national security concerns, and that's why everybody's clamoring for law and order here. What are you going to say, Luke?
Yeah, and what I'll say too on that is this thing. Because as of right now, yes, most of the immigration we're getting is just Central Americans. You know, they're Catholic, culturally Christian, culturally European in many ways, especially religiously, but like the language they speak, etc. But what I'm more referring to is the fact that these countries in Central America, the reason we're importing them is because of, as of right now, they have a positive birth rate. And that's the main reason we're bringing in immigration. These countries are not very positive, though. They're not like, they're like 2.1 to 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
That's eventually in the next few years going to go below that. And where do you think they're going to start getting immigrants from? The same place Europe's getting them from.
And it's
so when you set a precedent and when legal immigration is fully okay, when you start bringing people from other parts of the world in, it's going to be a lot harder to turn around. And so I think it's best that right now we start moving the window to where it's opposed, you know?
Absolutely. I think we have actors pushing the window. We saw Jack Poso, Charlie Kirk, and Matt Walsh. I know that they're a bit more mainstream than other people, but all of those people were pushing for net zero migration. I would love for that to be on the GOP platform next time. I think we can turn it into a majority issue between now and 2028. We got a few years to work on it. That would be amazing. The proposal last year from JD Vance while he was interviewing and during the campaign was to cut legal immigration in half. That's not good enough, but I was going to take whatever we could get. But if we're going to start talking about net zero migration, let's keep talking about net zero migration. I think it's actually really good. It's like, it's not closing the border, but what it is like, if we're deporting people, we can only take in as many people as we deport, not taking in more people than we already do. But instead of taking in 1 million people a year legally, we take in, you know, an amount based off of how many people we deported the previous year or something like that. Like, that's at least, that's a way better than cutting the immigration in half. I'm just going to be honest. So that would be cool. We'll talk about that more. We'll continue talking about trying to get to an immigration moratorium, because I think that would be really good. Tim, and you know, look, it's just 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks to stop the spread. If you guys just like close the borders entirely for legal immigration for 2 weeks to stop the spread of anti-Americanism, we will get this under control. We'll flatten the curve. So please just sit tight. Closing the border. No. I brought this up because to say what Luke was saying, to add to his point, JD Vance had retweeted from Matthew Schmitz before the riots. Immigration, particularly at levels large enough to make a demographic difference, is not a solution to demographic decline, but it's accelerant. So you can come. I'll actually give you guys this link in the chat if you guys want to go read. Do any of you guys read? No.
No, I'm not intellectual. I get all of my news from Real American Politics. So
yeah, but check out that link from Compact Mag. That is that was beautiful, and it's really important. Look, if this immigration doesn't actually fix the problem that they're claiming it fixes, which it doesn't, then that is an amazing point to be discussing. So we might actually increase the fertility rate by doing a temporary pause on all immigration. That could be something that happens. And of course, many business owners, many white collars will be mad, but the working class will benefit greatly. So let's continue thinking about that. More stuff.
I just had to point out, when we're talking about Hispanic immigration, I decided to eat some chips and salsa, I needed a snack.
Very nice.
So that was it.
John out here thinking we can read. Right. I understand. I have to read for you guys. That's why you tune into the stream. I get it. I'll read for you a little bit, but I want you guys to read it too. Okay. Let's see. Going after Trump to flood big cities like LA and NYC with ICE agents in quote, single largest mass deportation program in history. So he made a post, a Truth Social last night. And Trump highlights the sweeping change targeting majority Democrat cities on Truth Social Sunday night as he praised ICE agents for their incredible strength, determination, and courage. Quote, in order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside, unquote, Trump wrote. Oh, yeah. And we're going to actually keep going. We're going to keep going on the stream a bit because I really wanted to touch immigration. It's going to be a little bit long, but it's okay. We're talking immigration now.
There's a certain person just on the west side of Chicago who's causing a bit of chaos that I think Trump should really. I think people in chat know who I'm insinuating. But yeah, Trump really needs to go to Chicago. That's got to be like ground zero.
Right. Oh, yeah. Richard Head for 2, Michigan will be a red wave on 2026. Just wanted to read that real quick. We appreciate your super chat. Richard Head. Oh, Lord Rhino for 10. The British population is 68 million. The number of British people, 55 million. That has been a relatively stable number since 2000. Population hasn't increased from natural births. Yeah, it looks like importing millions of people that aren't from your culture does not, in fact, increase the fertility of your culture. In fact, it alienates people, makes people harder to find matches and mates, makes it harder to reproduce because you're making their jobs have lower wages, which means they can't afford the basic things that you need to marry and reproduce. Oh, wait a second. Oh, this all sounds like a giant sinkhole. No. But yeah, all of the policy is terrible.
Boston Nationalist just sent me something. Boston Nationalist wants me to talk about this. It's kind of electoral politics related, but it is pretty interesting.
Sure.
It appears Joni Ernst will probably not be running for re-election following her "you're all gonna die" comment.
Well, Joni Ernst wasn't. I mean, she only barely underperformed Trump in 2020, but she's not a very strong candidate, all things considered.
So Joni Ernst is not running for re-election. Am I hearing that correctly?
He most likely won't.
That's the word on the street, which basically means source trust me, bro, but also kind of.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, look in general. I sent a post. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'll pull
from
this
the
up
Wall Street Journal. Actually,
I'll pull this up. WSJ. Again, we're just discussing rumors, guys. So take it all with a grain of salt. But real quick, there's widespread speculation among GOP strategists. Senator Joni Ernst could pass on running for re-election next year. And it says, quote, Ernst's political ascent within the GOP is stalled. I'm going to be honest, she wasn't my favorite anyways. I think she's done some good. She's done plenty of bad. I'm pretty comfortable with Joni Ernst walking out the door as long as we replace her with someone good. But yeah, no, we will see. We will see how that develops. It's a developing story, guys. Unless it fizzles out and it was complete bull. Blame the Wall Street Journal if it was bull. Okay, guys. Anyways, so right, I wanted to ask you guys about what you thought, because I think we're going to have some negative ideas, negative opinions, and it's okay. We should air them out. We should talk about all of it right after I read the super chat from Jacob Hawley. $10, sir. Thank you. I'm actually Rap's personal banker now, and I'm just looking at the money flow, and I'm just like, man, we're gonna get so many. I don't know. We're gonna make Rap feel so much better.
It's a joke I would make, but I don't want to get Rap's channel taken down. So
yeah, I was thinking it too.
I know. It's funny.
Rap
It's
Money
a
Man was intriguing though.
rap money man. But yeah, going ahead, I'm trying to refresh the my live stream feed because I'm having trouble seeing the chat. Here we go. Jacob Hawley for 10. Wisconsin farmers are suing the USDA in federal court to force them to abide by Trump's executive order on DEI. They say that the USDA is still discriminating against white-owned businesses and farms. That is absolutely abominable, Jacob. I cannot believe that they're, well, I can totally believe it, but it's a sad thing to hear, and I hope it works out really well for them. I think it will in this current environment. We're still fixing the justice system. We're still fixing judges, but sounds like a solid case that they've got of discrimination. Let's see here. I wanted to have your guys' opinion on the shift. So we've heard a couple of rumors, a couple of speculations, a couple theories about potentially Trump shifting his immigration deportation focus for the sake of passing the big, beautiful bill. People were pulling up Don Bacon's name and claiming Don Bacon was not going to pass the revised bill after the Senate revises it if we didn't kind of lay off the farmers. And it looks like Trump is now shifting rhetoric. He's like, well, I'm still deporting people. I'm still deporting more people than I did at the start of the administration, but I'm directing all ICE agents to go into the big blue cities and take care of these people and make the streets safer. So I really wanted to know what your guys' opinion was on the shift away from ag, away from the hotel service business, and towards the big, deep blue cities. What do you think now with some of the new information revelation that we've discovered?
Okay. Let me, yeah. I if you don't mind, yeah, you can. Okay, whatever. Yeah, basically, what my take is I think, in an ideal world, we would just deport literally everyone immediately. But again, that's an ideal world. Like, you can't do that. So I understand that, like, if you're gonna do it, like, in a realistic setting, it makes sense to go after, like, the gangs in these cities first. And, like, trying to, like, kind of slowly phase out the people working in farming and stuff like that. Because, like, it is true technically that, yes, if you deported every single person immediately, a lot of these farms would get, like, you'd see a lot of food delays. Just, I don't like that that's the case, but that is just the position we're in right now. So I think that you kind of need to take a little bit slower, you know, was like, can't just get rid of everyone at once. So I kind of do understand what he's doing. I hope, though, that this kind of what he's trying to do, I hope this isn't just like abandoning trying to deport these people, because you should still deport them. But, like, I do get the argument that, like, there has to be, like, some phasing out. You can't just deport all these people all at once. So
yeah, okay, because there has to be priorities. We don't have unlimited ICE agents, unlimited funding, and it seems the Senate, particularly Rand Paul, is trying to nuke that bill as much as possible. So you do have to make priorities, and starting with construction workers and gang members is the best idea. While also giving farms time to adjust to the fact that they're no longer allowed to pay illegals $3 an hour to pick their tomatoes for them. They're going to have to pay U.S. citizens or legal immigrants, God forbid.
Totally agree. American Nerd for 5. Yay. How likely that Cornyn's war chest ends the Paxton surge if used in the fall? Oh my.
That could be interesting. Honestly, here's the thing. If this was like a 50-50 race, if it was like 35-35 and there was a 30% undecided, sure, I would say that that Cornyn has a chance. The problem is Paxton's at 50%. Or he's either at or like right under 50%. I don't think I've seen a single poll in the last couple months that doesn't have him at 45% or higher. And that's without a Trump endorsement. Cornyn can spin. Now, he could try to become like a MAGA Republican as much as he wants, but the problem is he has a history, a lifelong career of being an establishment anti-Trump guy. As recently as 2024, he was saying we cannot have Trump. We need somebody else in the White House, or as the Republican nominee. But if nothing else, he was instrumental in passing the first federal gun control legislation in over 30 years. In Texas, you can't do that. You can get away with that in, like, I don't know, like some other state, like even more conservative states, because, you know, Texas, I'm not going to say Texas has a unique history of being pro-gun, but it's definitely one of the stronger ones.
Right. They need to get better laws. We need to get better laws in Florida. But at the end of the day, I completely agree. The numbers aren't lying. And unless like the numbers are really close, you do have to pay attention to them, you know? And as far as it goes right now, I think Cornyn is cooked. There's a bunch of other people we want to primary across the country that we either can't, just like actually can't, or that are just going to be able to have a good incumbency advantage and be able to avoid any things that we raise against them. But this is like that one special place in the country where it's a race where it looks like the death of the rhino is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because anyway. Cornyn, like, I'm not even going to say, Texas is not even really known for having like a super MAGA electorate. Like, this isn't Arizona. This isn't even like, I don't even know. I guess Wisconsin isn't super MAGA as an electorate, but Texas is more social conservative, and that's why I think Cornyn's doing so badly. Is because he's really not that socially conservative, and even if he was, him being anti-gun, him being anti-Trump, it's the fact that Paxton is literally at 50% or right under it, and he hasn't even ran a campaign yet. Like, we're over a year out from the primary, or no, I think we're like 10 months out from the primary, something like that, and he's already that fucked. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, unless things change between now and then, and, you know, there is time for things to change, but right now, looking very bad for Cornyn. And again, just, you know, it's like one W out of like a field of 10 to 12 to 14 L's, so I feel pretty comfortable holding it.
That's the primarying out an incumbent senator is difficult. It's not easy. Even Arlen Specter barely lost renomination, and he switched parties the year prior.
Yeah. No, so that it is a difficult thing to do. The name recognition and everything else that comes along with, people know what things are like under your rule. People know what it's like with your legislation in Congress. The incumbency advantage, it affects so many other pieces of a normal election. So, well, that's part of the reason why right now we're kind of so optimistic on stuff like the New Jersey race, because, you know, the incumbents kind of reach their term limit, I believe. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, that is what we're dealing with there. Getting back to immigration, I wanted to give my take. I'll try to make this brief because I know we're already going like way over time, but I'm going to keep going. Hey, man, we're still streaming.
There's no overtime, dude. This is your channel now.
If you feel bad for the deep oppression that the man that runs this channel has gone through, if you feel in your heart that you must rectify it with your wallet, send a super chat, hit that like button, get that stream shared, because we're rolling, we're pumping along, man. Okay, but my take on the immigration stuff, very clear cut before I get into my ramble. I agree with this as a temporary move. I disagree with it as a long-term plan. Reason I agree with it as a temporary move is because, number one, the big beautiful bill gives us more money to deport people. So if your goal is deporting people, as many people as possible, you want the money more than you want.
I want
this
to
temporary
deport literally
policy.
1 trillion foreigners.
Right. So we need,
for that.
and we need more money for that. We need more border security. We need more detention centers. We need more hires. All of that. So if this actually is connected to passing the big beautiful bill through people like Don Bacon, that's fine. And I would really want Trump to just like let it go for 1-2 months, and we can have news articles filled with these people going through. Another reason I like the temporary move, it's a lot more visible than taking people off farms. People don't drive by farms every day, but they do drive by construction sites. They do drive by Home Depot. They do drive by all of these other places in the cities. And so if you see a very visible change in the crime rate, in the population density, in all of these other things, and like cities become mildly more functional, and you could, and everybody's sitting there like, well, this is because like the immigrants got removed, right? Then we may see people get more approving of immigration. It's like, I can finally go to Costco without crying. I can finally go to Home Depot without being scared of a hammer flying in my face. I can finally not see a drug deal outside of my favorite 7-Eleven. Like, that would be wonderful. And I think a lot of city people would appreciate that. And as we have that donut hole effect happening, maybe the people right outside the city might even feel comfortable doing commerce in the city again. Who knows? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I think that those are really good things. The reason I disagree with it as a long-term policy, like beyond the bill, beyond everything else, is because of these business owners. These business owners have been lobbying the agricultural secretary like crazy. They believe that they have bought and owned the government. I don't believe Donald Trump is a bought and owned man, but they believe they've bought the federal government. And at the end of the day, all this whining, they're going on and doing interviews with news outlets talking about, oh, I'm the president of a gigantic company and I have to think of a plan. I have to think of a plan after the illegals get kicked out. And I have no plan. But that's why you get paid millions and millions of dollars a year. Did you not know that, Mr. President? Mr. President of this big company, you get paid millions of dollars to make a plan for your company. And yeah, no, it's just absolutely ridiculous. They're all whining. They're whining because they don't like the loss in profit margins under the current business operations. They don't like having to talk to their hedge fund, or they don't like having to talk to the people at the board of directors or the people that are trading their stock and go, well, guys, we're going to see like a quarter dip in profits and, can't really deal with it because, the Trump admin's kicking out all our illegals. We can't work them at $2 an hour anymore. We have to like hire like a $16 an hour worker. That just sucks. Yeah, no, they don't like the cost of their labor multiplying by 8. And, if you're thinking with a business mind, you mean like, holy crap, that sounds like a lot. But at the end of the day, that is the rate that they're supposed to be hiring at because this is the organic national market of labor. Labor has supply and demand just like any other good and service. And the fact that we have been suppressing wages is part of why Americans are suffering to begin with. So it's absolutely horrible. We've, of course, don't want businesses to evaporate overnight because we're deporting people. But if you let the policy continue, my opinion is that these companies will feel entitled to never follow the law ever, as they currently do. And we will never remedy the situation. And of course, because they hire illegals, when we're deporting all the illegals, they're going to fund the political campaigns of people that will bring in more illegals or more visas. So they're directly against our interests. If you want these people to be gone, if you want these people to reform themselves, you have to put legal action against them. And that's why I'm with Matt Walsh when he says, put these people in prison. Put these people in prison, not because it's good for the economy, but because it's good for the health of our nation for business owners to not feel entitled to something that's going away.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Away.
People are always like, oh, well, like, now I have to pay my workers like the legal wage. It's like, yeah, now you have to do what everyone else is supposed to do. Like, you're not being punished. You are being held accountable. You are breaking the law. You are hiring illegals. Like, you're not entitled to this. You don't get to go on and complain that your illegal workforce that you shouldn't be employing in the first place because you're not allowed to is going away. You should be, honestly, the fact that these people have the audacity to go on television and publicly say that they're breaking the law by employing illegals is baffling to me. It shouldn't be the case. You should be fearing for your own sovereignty, fearing for your own ability to stay out of prison or not be bankrupted from fines. You shouldn't be going out there and expecting sympathy from the American people for this. It's such bullshit.
All right.
I think we need to start being more liberal about arresting people. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Again, that's exactly it. Stop thinking about immigration for a second. Think about the current conflict and the riots between law and order and anarcho-tyranny. Yes, immigration is the subject, but at the end of the day, just like with the Floyd riots, the problem is that people believe laws should not be enforced. The mayor of LA believes laws should not be enforced. The governor of California believes laws should not be enforced. This is the same in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the same in Minnesota. It's the same in Chicago. It's the same in New York. And Trump is here to say, listen, I understand that you have a bit of separation of powers between me and you because the states and federal government work in conjunction, not as one unit. But if you don't enforce your laws, I'm going to enforce your laws. So that's the whole chase. Federal laws
can we just appreciate the fact, because I think we're wrapping up and I do got to get going. So before I go, can we just appreciate the fact that they are holding a No Kings protest against Trump in the UK?
Oh no, they're doing it all across. I think there were 6 countries in Europe that had No Kings protests.
There's something interesting about the UK. Like, what do you think the UK stands for? United Kingdom.
Right.
No king.
No, it's really funny. They're doing No Kings protests, yet they have a king, and that's actually happening in a few other countries where they have a king and they're protesting against a king. It's absolutely clown world kind of stuff. By the way, yeah, we are going to wrap up soon. Last call for super chats. Get in your super chats.
I've got a video meeting with AFP. I got to go to. So
okay.
Adios.
Last call for super chats. We'll do our last stories here. I'm going to read these 2 super chats that we just got. K-Cub for 2. Did John Rose say Home Depot? Stephen Miller. Yep, he heard me. Stephen Miller. He just got to a Home Depot. He just remembered, and so now he's going for it. Mike Oxford for 2. We need to also start deporting legals. The way I see that turned into actual policy is the remigration centers and the remigration offices. There's a rumor that hasn't been substantiated that there's going to be a remigration office implemented in the actual federal government under Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I believe that this is what should replace the refugee centers. Refugee centers replaced with remigration centers, where what happens at remigration center? Basically, a legal who actually, not an illegal, but a legal immigrant who feels as though, hey, you know what, my opportunities are kind of drying up here because the government focuses on native citizens of America, whites, blacks, Hispanics that already live here. Okay, well, my opportunities are drying up. I kind of want to go home. Can you guys help me get home? And essentially, we just kind of offer them the same way that we're offering people free plane rides back home if they're illegals. We can offer legal migrants avenues and paths to get back and incorporate into their societies wherever they came from. Remigration centers would be wonderful. And that's how Europe's been handling it. Europe has remigration centers in a couple of countries, and they basically offer small amounts of money, kind of like proportionate to the amount that they've been draining off the welfare state. And they go, well, here's X, Y, and Z. We know you came here legally, but we're going to offer you this path home, maybe offer you a couple things to help your transition back home. I think that would be really good. I don't know how much freebies I want to give, but we're already given a free plane ride and a little bit of pocket money. So might be a good idea to think about that for legals who do not actually love America. I think that's a big thing. If the legals love America and they're going to assimilate, and we build up like a bunch of we should build up stuff for people who want to be American and love America and have no affiliation with their old country. Give them the tools to assimilate and actually practice assimilation. We haven't been. That's the big thing. We talk about, assimilation's not real, immigration's not real. But what if we just haven't been doing it? And we haven't. So we need to ramp up in assimilation in terms of language, in terms of job skills, in terms of everything else. But remigration centers for people who are culturally incompatible with the country. They can show up, get some help, get out of here. Okay, I think that's the translation there. Emilio D for 555. Thanks for hosting, John. I'd watch more of your streams. I'd watch more of my streams too, but that's only because I just ramble too much. I'm just a fucking yapper. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look. I had Donald Trump's Truth Social posted up. We'll go through this real quick. It's just the fact he's talking about his shift that we just talked about, getting away from the farms, going towards the big cities. That is the current thing. We've all given our opinions on it. I want our brave ice offers to know that real Americans are cheering you on every day. The American people want our cities, schools, and communities to be safe and free from illegal alien crime, conflict, and chaos. The one thing I wanted to point out is that he actually uses, once again, he's been getting used to it, he's using the term remigration of aliens. And he's kind of like, even in this sentence, our federal government will continue to be focused on the remigration of aliens to the places from where they came. And so right now we're handling illegals and we're deporting illegals, but already you see the administration language get a little bit more vague. And you can read the tea leaves one way or another there. I see a little bit of movement. I think the window's shifting, and certainly hope that it is. What do you think of the term remigration, Yay? Remigration.
I mean, it's what you're looking for. I mean,
yeah.
The problem with like mass deportations is they're going to be like, oh, it's cruel to just, send them back because they have this and that. But it's like, we're remigrating them. We're sending them home. I mean, I think it's a good term to use, honestly.
Right. Yeah. I think we should normalize remigration. John, please show Death Note to Rap. I don't want to give him any ideas. Let's not do that. Oh yeah. And I brought up this like insufferable woman from Wisconsin 7, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. I came to this country when I was 16. I worked in immigration justice for 20 years before setting foot in Congress. That's the first problem. You came to this country when you were a teenager and you got to set foot in Congress. I don't agree with that.
Fuck no.
Yeah. I've spent my entire life defending immigrants. I'm not backing down. Yeah. Incredibly strong argument against her. Also, while all the corporations have given up on Pride, Jayapal, she has the rainbow circle. Aren't you so proud of her celebrating Pride? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. And all the comments. We're deporting you, by the way. See, this is why I'm anti-immigration.
You're going back. You're going back. I mean, the fact that here's the thing. You come to America, you were given the privilege of migrating here, and then you spend your time wanting to bring in illegals? Like, it sounds like we made a mistake letting you in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say immigration judges immigration lawyers aren't necessary for legal immigration, because that's a process you do need. But I'm sorry, most migrant judges or most migrant lawyers are focusing on keeping illegals in the country. That is what they are paid to do.
Right. Yeah, no. So we just have to shift incentives. It's all about incentives. What are we paying people to do? What are we paying people to not do? And really, we just need to shift, instead of like paying people to settle these people, like charities and other things, we need to pay people to help people get back home safely and in a good situation. I think that's like where our money should start going. I have a couple super chats. Jacob Hawley for 5. New poll on TW. Donald, 50 approval, disapproval, 43, plus 7. That looks pretty strong. I don't know what TW is. Is that a specific poll? Do you know what he means by TW?
I don't know, but we do have a Harvard poll. Who would you have wished won the 2024 election right now? 51-49 Trump.
So it's still Trump plus 2, which means the country has not moved at all.
If anything, it's moved towards Trump, because Trump didn't even get 50% of the vote.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, so we just have a new message from Netanyahu. I don't know exactly what this super chatter is referring to. SOVN for 27, by the way. New statement from our beloved Bibi. Iran will use the ceasefire to produce nuclear weapons from Netanyahu. Israeli PM claims that Tehran wants talks, but says Israel will keep fighting. Not really surprised by that. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Lord Rhino for 5. You need to look at the abortion law here Stalin is trying to pass in the UK. It is outrageous. I'll take a look at that. We might talk about it tomorrow, Rhino. I am Battlefield for 2. We need SCOTUS to reinterpret the 14th Amendment. I am Battlefield. It's on their desks. They are stalling their feet. They want to kick the can down the road. We shouldn't let them. We should be, yelling at them because they know what they need to do. But they have to reinterpret the 14th Amendment so that American citizens have actual citizenship again, and that people that move here don't just magically become Americans because they were, an 8-month pregnant woman squatted in a Motel 7 or whatever. Like that is not how our country was supposed to function. But yeah, no more anchor babies. So, yay to citizenship actually mattering. Let's be like the rest of the world that actually functions. Let's see. What else did I have? Anything else interesting? Yeah. Shout out to America First Insight. I didn't at the start. Your voice matters. They have some really cool stuff on here. The scorecards for congressional members. Really quick way for you to figure out what issues people are good and bad on in the 119th Congress. They are tracking President Trump approval, so take a look at that. Shout outs to AFI. Links in the description. G7's going on. We'll probably talk about what happened today at G7 more tomorrow. But Trump says, I'd say Iran not winning this war. They should talk. They should talk immediately before it's too late. And as much as Israel wants to continue this conflict, I feel like when Russia, China, the US, and Iran are all on the same page and they're all de-escalating, and Iran is like giving us guarantees that will help us know for a fact that they can no longer produce nuclear weapons. We take their enrichment away. When that happens, and remember, all those radicals that were at the talks before, they're in boxes. So it's going to be a little bit harder. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll go well, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. But I think we're going to wrap it up there. I really appreciate you guys coming in, supporting Rap, tuning into the stream. I hope that I was not any less entertaining for you. But we'll continue going through this. You'll hear more from other folks in the crew. The Rap crew is here for you guys as Rap goes through his terrible oppression. Remember, he is oppressed, and society is something we live in. So, other than that, make sure you guys share our stuff, support us, everything else. But we're going to get out of here. Any last thoughts on anything, A?
3 buried, 0 found.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 3 buried, 0 found. That was exactly what I was thinking too, man. But yeah, no, love you guys. We will be here. John, what's your opinion on Reza Pahlavi? I think they should have a more American sounding name. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Gonna cut it here. God bless. And what is that thing that Rap says at the end?
Godspeed to all of you.
And Godspeed to all of you. It's a game theory. Godspeed. Okay. All right, it's over.